Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Gale right here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi video. And, well, this is something that's come out of absolutely nowhere. There is a new announcement that NeoWiz and Gree Entertainment have announced that there is going to be a new Danmachi RPG gacha game. Well, presumably it's going to be a gacha game for iOS and Android. It is planned for worldwide distribution, and I have no idea where this has come from. In all honesty, I have zero idea where this has come from. Gematsu are very reliable in terms of being a source for this sort of news, so I am not even going to doubt the fact that it is actually happening. And if you go over to Twitter, NeoWiz official, I don't know if this is actually the official NeoWiz account, but assuming it is, they've even announced that it is going to happen as well. NeoWiz signs an IP license agreement for Isn't It Okay to Seek Dating in a Dungeon. Danmachi, of course, we can see here. NeoWiz plans to develop mobile RPG and provide global service using Danmachi's IP policy to release information about the game sequentially. So there's still going to be information coming out inevitably. They've just announced the fact that they have acquired the license agreement to be able to publish the title worldwide. So if you take a look at the article, right, it says here, NeoWiz and Gree Entertainment have announced the development of a new RPG for iOS and Android based on the popular anime series Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. It will be distributed worldwide, excluding mainland China. I assume for mainland China, they'll probably have like a separate publisher, probably. That's my prediction for it, right? Development and global distribution will be handled by NeoWiz, while Gree Entertainment will cooperate in planning. This has come absolutely out of nowhere. I mean, yeah, you can see here, there is a full-on article right here. If I were to translate it, which you guys can't see because, of course, I'm using DeepL for this. But, yeah, this is something that they've just announced, and it's going to be, information will be dropping in due course, and I have absolutely no idea how to feel about this, to be quite honest. It's a joint venture program. Gree is a company we already know about, but before we get into it, I actually wanted to go over to the Danmachi 10 Projects website, right? I'm gonna refresh the page so that we can actually see if it's been updated. But initially, I came here. The first thing I did was when I saw that article and I saw that Twitter post of from Gematsu saying like, oh, there is a new Danmachi game being developed, I came over to the website to see actually if there was an announcement for the 10th project, because I thought, you know, Danmachi Battle Chronicle, the other gacha game that's coming out as well. Remember, there's another Danmachi gacha game coming as well that we know about. The beta test is literally next week, right? I thought that, you know, they might have made an announcement here, but it turns out there's no announcement here. This 10th project is still coming soon. So I'm just there like, well, where has this come from? This has just been out of nowhere. I went to Gree's website to see if there was any more information here. Turns out there's nothing here. What I predict is that we will be getting a new, you know, sort of like when the next quarter results come out for the presentation material for the investors relations and stuff, I expect us to see more information there potentially for Danmachi's new gacha game with NeoWiz. But for me, it's still a bit of a shock, to be quite honest, because before I want to talk about, before we get into NeoWiz's credentials and what games they've developed and stuff like that, I want to talk about the ramifications, right? Because this is basically Danmachi's fourth gacha game being in development and being produced potentially, right? Because right now, the games that are currently live and in production and currently in service, right? We have Danmachi Cross Historia and Danmachi Memoria Freese, right? We know that Battle Chronicle is releasing in the next couple of months, right? And then on top of that, you have this fourth gacha game coming out. Now, that is red flags to me. There's sirens blaring in my head, basically, regarding this news. Because while I would like to assume that Danmachi is very popular and is capable of sustaining 4 gacha games at the same time, that is impossible. That is, I'm gonna tell you guys right here, right now, that is practically impossible. If you look at other IPs, right, you look at Sword Art Online, you look at Dragon Ball, sorry, you look at Naruto, right? These IPs have had multiple gacha games. Sometimes they've had 4 live at the same time. I know Dragon Ball actually had 4 live at the same time, and even they decided to shut down 2 of them and are only developing Dokkan Battle and Legends at this point in time. Sword Art Online had, I think, 3 gachas going on at the same time, and then they had to shut down Memory Defrag, and obviously at the time they only had Integral Factor and Unleashed Blading, Blade. I don't know what it was called. Alicization, War of the Underworld, the other gacha game that they had. They had those two going on, and then Unleashed Blading shut down, and now they have Variant Showdown, basically, right? Those are the two games they have live right now. So you have these bigger IPs, and let's be real, these are way bigger IPs than Danmachi's smaller, nicher IP, right? And as a result, I don't believe that this is going to be feasible for them. What's going to happen, in my personal opinion, is that they're going to have at least 3 of them live at the same time, and that is best case scenario. Anyways, what I was thinking was going to happen, right? And this was before we found out about the news of a new gacha game coming out. I thought that we were going to have Danmachi Memoria Freese going live at the same time as Battle Chronicle, but Cross Historia would get shut down in the near future. That was my prediction, right? And that was assuming they would want to keep only 2 gacha games live at the same time in order to make sure that their profits are being maximized as much as possible. Now, with the introduction of a 4th gacha game, and especially one made by Gree, I still expect Cross Historia to be the first one to drop, to be quite honest, because it is a Japanese only gacha game at this point in time, right? So it's probably pulling in the least amount of money in comparison to Danmemo, which is at least a little bit more global, right? And of course, it's a little bit more widespread, so a lot more people know about it and a lot more people play it, purely because, of course, it's got the stories as well, right? So Danmemo is still extremely popular in comparison to Cross Historia, so it'll still survive, right? But now, with the introduction of the 4th gacha game, there is a very good chance Danmemo might also be on the chopping block, purely because, remember, Gree is also the developers of Danmemo. They are the parent company of Right Flyer Studios, if I'm not mistaken. So there is going to be that situation as well, where they're going to see which one does better, and if, say, the new Danmachi gacha game that NeoWiz drops does better than Danmemo, which of course in its initial run will probably do a little bit better because it's a new game, a lot more people will try it out and stuff like that, there is a very good chance Danmemo might be on the chopping block and we get this NeoWiz gacha game as well as Battle Chronicle as the 2 main Danmachi gacha games, which I don't feel so confident in, to be quite honest, because as much as Danmemo has had its fair share of mistakes and its stagnation at this point in time, it's still providing us really good content for the Danmachi franchise, and as Danmachi fans, I do believe like Danmemo is a really good gacha game, in my personal opinion, especially when it comes to the storytelling experience, right? I still maintain Danmemo is one of the best storytelling gacha games out there in the market, right? Alongside FGO and Genshin and Honkai and games like that, to be quite honest. So there is that concern, right? There is that concern, and I'm not sure how I feel about it because, of course, with Gree developing this new gacha game alongside, NeoWiz, I have zero idea what's going to happen to Danmemo. So that's one, obviously, point we have to talk about. Now, to talk about NeoWiz's own credentials, right? The thing is, right, NeoWiz is a very interesting company because they develop a lot of console games and a lot of mobile games as well. If you take a look at their mobile games, which is what we want to take a look at primarily, they have made games like Brown Dust, Oh My Ann, Guitar Girl, New Matgo, Drua Dungeon, and so on and so forth. Out of all these games, I'm personally not gonna lie, the only games I've seen and heard about is Baseball Clash because it's a mini clip game and you can see it in the top rankings for Google Play Store, so I know what this game is like. It's a mini clip game. I've seen Guitar Girl actually as well. I have seen this game and I have not played it personally, but I have seen this game on on the Google Play Store. Outside of that, I have zero idea on how they've developed these other gacha games. So I want to see if there's anything regarding Brown Dust maybe that we can have a look at maybe, so that we can actually see how this game is like in terms of a gacha game, to be quite honest. I'm very curious to see what the gameplay is like. So if you take a look here, right, I don't know if you guys can see it on OBS. Okay, beautiful, you guys can see it, but it looks like it's a very interesting game. Okay, you guys I might mute that, but yeah, it's very interesting that they're doing this. Also, they've got a landscape mode and a portrait mode for this game, so that's very interesting. So let's see the battle system. So it reminds me a lot of Octopath Traveler, it seems like. I don't know if you guys have ever played Octopath Traveler or Triangle Strategy. It reminds me of that. You know what, I wouldn't mind a game like that, to be quite honest, for Danmachi. If they were to do something like this for Danmachi, I would be absolutely down for that, like a 2.5D sort of JRPG style game. I would be absolutely down for that. Wario's sort of environments and the dungeon, and then you've got these chibi-esque models basically like Octopath Traveler. I think I would be down for that. Now, in terms of their other games as well, they are developing a Souls-like game in the form of Lies of P as well. This is their main game that I think that everybody knows about, I would say, and it's very popular because I remember it was announced during like one of the sort of like, you know, Xbox Directs or State of Play or something like that. And I remember watching it and I was like very interested by this, or it was at Gamescom or something, but it was very interesting to say the least. But I don't think it's gonna be anything like a Souls-like or a console game because it is coming out on mobile and iOS. It's coming out on iOS and Android, so there is that. But I don't know, man. I'm very curious to see what everybody has to say about this, to be quite honest. Personally, I don't know how to feel about this, to be honest. I actually don't know how to feel about this. Let me know what you guys think down below, because yeah, I'm very curious to see what do you guys think. Do you guys think that, you know, there will still be 3 gacha games going on at the same time, or do you think they'll keep all 4 alive at the same time? Do you think a couple of them are on the chopping block? Which ones do you think are on the chopping block as well? Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, this is a news that came out of absolutely nowhere. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.